Mortgage rates have jumped. The Federal Reserve is on bubble watch, and pending home sales are down. So here we are in mid-April, which means not only are your taxes due, it's time for your monthly real estate market update. Hi, this is Andrew with the S2 Real Estate Team here in Frisco, Texas today. And as I mentioned, in this month's real estate market update, I really want to hit on three key areas. The first is mortgage rates. As you know, or you may know, they've jumped. They've jumped quite a bit. They're higher now than they were expected to be for the end of the year. And it's got some people worried. At the exact same point in time, we've got a report from the Federal Reserve in Dallas saying that, market conditions in some areas are showing over exuberance. And it's something that we need to keep an eye on, as that could lead to a housing bubble. And lastly, pending home sales are down. So we're going to want to touch on that as well. And that will naturally evolve into a touch on home prices and where things are likely to go from here. Again, I put these videos out every single week. And once a month, I kind of take a deeper dive into what is going on. So I'd really appreciate if you like what I'm putting out here and you want to be notified when I release a new video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I'd be happy to have you along. So let's talk about mortgage rates first. As many people know that they have jumped quite a bit, and it's got some people kind of nervous. I mean, it's going to impact affordability. Inflation's way up. Now, home prices we know have soared, and now you've got mortgage rates going up, which means it's a little bit harder to afford everything. So what is that likely to do? Is it going to force home prices down? And I think that's the hope many home buyers have, but it doesn't always play out that way. So let me share the latest information with you here. I'll share my screen. So here we go. With regards to mortgage rates, the first one thing I want to bring to your attention here is from the Deputy Chief Economist from Freddie Mac. And as he mentioned, he goes, mortgage rates are likely to continue to move higher throughout the rest of 2022, although it's expected to be at a slower pace. So what's happened with the quick jump that we've had already is where mortgage rates are heading and what the Federal Reserve is likely to do with regards to rates has already been factored in to some of the mortgage rates that we're seeing today. There may still be some increases. There more likely will be some increases, but it should be at a much lower pace than what we have seen in the past. Now, considering it's getting more expensive, one of the questions that we've had is, does that mean home prices are likely to fall? And it doesn't actually correlate that way historically. Let me show you what I mean. So this is from Freddie Mac. And as you can see here, what it's showing is increases in mortgage rates and what resulted with home prices. So bring your attention here, back in 96, right? We had over 8 months, rates increased by 1.2% to a final rate of 8.23. During that time period, home prices still increased 2%, even though total home sales went down slightly. I'm not going to read all of them, but as you can see going through here, every single time there's been mortgage rate increases of more than 1%, home prices themselves have not fallen. They've still continued to rise. Obviously here, 03, 04, 13%, 11 or 12 and 13, 11% there. So what you do notice is, for the most part though, home sales have come down. So rather than the increase in mortgage rates instantly causing home prices to come down, what has actually happened is some demand has pulled back. There hasn't been as much demand because of the increase in rates, which has caused overall home sales to decline, but it hasn't necessarily caused home prices to come down. Now, the last thing that we threw in here, and it wasn't available going back to the 90s right into 2000, but look at where months of inventory were when these rates happened as opposed to today. I mean, in the markets that we deal with, and in much of the country, we're dealing with very low inventory. Here in Frisco, we have about 2 weeks worth of inventory. Phoenix, Arizona, just over 2 weeks. Southern California, they're running at about 3 weeks as well. So not a lot of inventory, nothing like 4.8, 4.5 months. So even as the rates have increased, what we've been looking for is a sign that the market is slowing. The overall real estate market is slowing, and we're just not seeing it yet. So here's a point that Mike Simonson from Altos Research brought up. Now, Altos Research is a company I rely on quite a bit. They put out some phenomenal information that is updated weekly. So unlike a lot of the information that you get that takes a couple of months to reach the public domain and be reported on the news, Altos Research tracks every home for sale in the United States weekly and produces a report. I use those reports quite a bit. And as Mike said, we keep watching for it, but there are absolutely no signs of a market slowdown anywhere in the data as of yet. It will appear. Anytime that there's going to be a change in the market, it will appear in this data. Let me show you exactly what I mean here. So this is a sample of the market report. I've put a link to this market report in the description of this video below. And even if you're not in Frisco, Texas, if you type in any city, state, zip code right here and just hit search, you will be taken to the most updated information specific to your market. Right? So I'm not going to go through and read all of this, but I do want to point out one key thing, and that's this market action index. Think of this as like a speedometer. Okay, it goes from 0 to 100 in this particular case. Anytime it gets over 30, market conditions more favor sellers than buyers. Here in Frisco, we're running at a 97. I mean, that needle's virtually pegged. I mean, the market's redlining, I guess you could say here. Okay, it's about the same as it was a month ago, right? Now, the one thing that we did notice is that inventory has ticked up slightly. It's still only at 106, when it should be round about 800 to 900 homes for sale right now, as we are moving into the busiest season. But that's just to give you an idea of those are the market conditions within the last week here in Frisco. Now, although this looks like the same report, we're now actually in Phoenix. So look at Phoenix, Arizona, a 98 on the report. That's an increase in the last month. It previously was a 91. Inventory here has also increased. Okay, so this market is running absolutely red hot as well. Lastly, this is Temecula, California. So in Southern California, not quite as hot as Frisco or Phoenix, but still 91. I mean, it's ridiculous how much these markets are moving. Now, the previous month, it was an 88. So again, you go back to what Mike said, we're not seeing any evidence of a slowdown in the data. This is why. And what you're going to see here is that as those mortgage rates jumped up, a lot of people that have been sitting on the fence jumped into the market. They jumped in saying, oh my gosh, if we're going to buy, we better buy now. Otherwise, we'll be priced out. We'll never get a house, right? That's why you're seeing these action indexes go up. It caused a flood of activity. Back to that report from the Federal Reserve. It was actually the Federal Reserve Bank out of Dallas. And what they said was there is signs, or there could be signs, of over exuberance in the market due to a fear of missing out. What they're basically saying here is that there's going to be buyers that think that it's past them, right? If they don't buy now, they'll never be able to buy. So they're jumping into the market. That's causing the markets to actually heat up a little bit in many areas. Now, this is going to change to a certain extent from area to area, and it's not going to be the exact same in every area of the country, which is why it's a good idea to keep a watch on the community most important to you. So again, the mortgage rates right now have not shown any signs of causing the market to cool. Now, we will see what happens as we go forward. But as far as home prices coming down, people just aren't expecting it right now. Even the latest survey is showing here, this is from Fortune magazine, more industry insiders are throwing out their previous forecasts and replacing them with more bullish short-term outlooks. Indeed, some experts think 2022 spring housing market could go down into one of the most competitive on record. So the market is still very, very active. What about those pending sales I referred to? Pending sales are down. Yeah, pending sales are down because there's not as much inventory for sale as there was a year ago. So compared to a year ago, which is what the numbers do, pending home sales are down. There's nothing to sell. The numbers are going down not because the market is contracting, but because there isn't any inventory. Anyone that's been in the market to buy can tell you this, but I will say there are small signs of changes on the horizon. And a lot of the change doesn't necessarily have to do with some of the fundamentals that we're seeing, but it has to do with perception. Okay, so there's a lot of sellers out there that haven't sold. A lot of people that wanted to move over the past couple of years that haven't. They've paused. Some of it due to the pandemic. As we've moved through a lot of the pandemic, now it's like, well, if I put my house up for sale, where am I going to go? What am I going to buy? There's nothing for sale. Interesting thing is Realtor.com did a survey of homeowners recently, and 2/3 indicated that they thought it was a positive time to sell, and they planned on listing their homes for sale by August of this year. Now, on the flip side of that, a recent survey by Fannie Mae, only 24% of potential buyers thought now was a good time to buy. So you've got a lot of sellers that think it's a good time to sell. No wonder prices are sky high. A lot of buyers saying, well, now isn't a good time to buy. You've got prices that have gone up super fast, and now you've got mortgage rates that are going up. So those don't jive. So what you're likely to see is more homes come to market, and you're also going to see some buyers have simply gotten priced out. You're going to start to see demand pull back a little bit. Remember that graph I showed earlier that showed what home sales did in rising rate environments? That will likely impact the number of homes sold. Not only about, because the inventory is down, but because you're going to get people that aren't quite sure. So buyers are hesitant and sellers want to take advantage of it. But again, in wrapping up here, I just want to point out, we've talked about it a lot. Why are we in this predicament? Why are we even going through this right now at all? And if you've heard or anything I've put out, read any of my blogs or looked at the information, you'll know that I've been talking forever about an imbalance between supply and demand. That is what's been driving prices, not speculation, not funky loans, right? I mean, that's what we saw before, but an imbalance, a massive imbalance between supply and demand. So what exactly am I talking about? Well, this last graph kind of sums it up perfectly. All right, this goes all the way back to 1970, and this is specifically talking new construction. If you look at 1970 all the way through 2006, what you've got 2007 here, you've got on average, this is how many homes a year were constructed in the United States. That number is right around 1 million. Okay, we obviously had several years where it went above, and then the market crashed. And the thing is, the builders have never really recovered. So for the past 14 years, when you look at that average, we have been below the 50-year average with regards to single family housing units completed. So yeah, I mean, new construction, it's not available. You've got millennials reaching the largest generation, reaching prime home buying age, and there's nothing to buy. Because there's nothing to buy, would-be sellers aren't putting their homes on the market because, as I said earlier, where are they going to go? There's nothing for them to buy. So you've got this massive imbalance. We're just now getting back to it. And last year, we just exceeded this, and it's projected that it will be the exact same going forward into the end of this year and into 2023 as well. So with that in mind, what should we expect? Okay, the new construction right now, I was just at a community over the weekend. There's 6 lots available and 350 people on the wait list. Many new construction builders right now have also gone to a bidding process to try and even things out. Not all, and I appreciate the ones that haven't, as I don't think that's entirely fair. but they are slowly starting to catch up. We've also had supply issues, supply chain constraints. It's been difficult to get windows and drywall and brick, appliances. All of those things have made it a challenge, and it's taking longer than it used to build homes. But it is starting to change. So if you've been in the market and thinking about buying, don't give up. The right time to buy will be when it's the right time for you to buy. Don't try and time this. And as of right now, it doesn't look as though anything drastic is going to happen. Even last week, I just shared that they're expecting, albeit at a slower pace, home prices to continue increasing through 2026. If you're on the flip side and you've been thinking of selling and you want to make a move, it's not a bad time. Right now, you're still got a lot of buyer activity, and you've got to pace that against where the mortgage rates are going to go. Sure, your home may go up in value a little bit more over the next couple of years, but whatever property you're going to buy is going to go up in value as well, right? It's going to become more expensive. If you're selling and paying cash, awesome. You don't have to worry about it. If you're getting a loan, well, it's a little bit different. You've got to watch where those mortgage rates are going. So again, hopefully this helps answer some of the questions that you may have. If there's additional information you would like, additional questions that you have, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're always happy to share with you and help you through that process as best we can. You can reach us at 469-296-5230 or send an email to contact@s2realestateteam.com.